for an ionic compound.
You need to have a metal and a non-metal.
Okay, so I want you to type a sentence that says the definition of an ionic compound, which is what you just said, metal and nonmetal, and then say that both chlorine and bromine are nonmetals.
All right. All right, I just sent what I typed in chat.
Yep. All right, so I'm gonna reorder the sentences so that the second one comes first. All right, very good. Okay, let's go to number 9. Number 9. So it says the chemical formula for water is H2O. Explain the difference between a molecule, an atom, and an element using water. So I'm gonna type the question and you're going to provide the answer. What elements make up H2O? And I'd like a full sentence, please.
What elements make up H2O?
Yeah, if you could type and there's that could be more, oops, sorry, that can be more specific. What two elements make up H2O? Could you give me a sentence in the chat that answers that, please?
Okay. So, okay.
Try to reuse the words that I have in my question.
All right, here's what I have typed up.
Exactly. Okay. What are elements composed of? And there's, yeah, almost let me just see if you can answer it that way.
What are elements composed of? Okay.
It's one of the words that they're asking you to define.
Of atoms.
Yes. Okay. So give me a sentence that says that, please.
I already typed that, just that elements are composed of atoms.
Yes, there we go. Good.
That's the easiest sentence I can write.
That's fine. And that's how you answer these questions. I mean, you break it up. So now what um What is the name for combining two or more elements?
What's a name for combining two or more elements?
It's one of the words in the sentence again, or the question, sorry.
It's in the question.
Yes. What are the three things we're supposed to be explaining the difference between?
H2O.
Nope.
Oh,
That's just
oops.
using an
The
example.
difference between a molecule and an atom and an element using water.
So which have we not talked about yet?
A molecule.
Yes. So give me a sentence that uses those words that so that what because what I'm going to do here is remove the questions and we're just going to leave your sentences as the answer. So give me a sentence that says that what a molecule is.
All right. I just typed it in chat.
Let me take a look here. So let's do it. Let's rewrite it slightly differently. A molecule is two or more elements. Is the combination. Okay, and that's the way to answer this. Does the order matter? Um, sure. You could say, um, I mean, I think this is fine though, the way it's written. So, all right. So you actually answered question 10 earlier. Why do atoms form bonds? It has to do with stability. Do bonds make them more stable or less stable?
I feel like they do have to make them stable some way.
That's correct. So give me a sentence that says why they form bonds. It's to make them more stable, but use the words from the question if you can.
All right. Okay, I just typed a simple sentence for why do atoms form bonds. I just said atoms form a bond to make them more stable. I
Okay, that's
just
good. And yes, so are there atoms that don't like to form bonds? Yes, the answer is yes, comma. And these occur, these are the ones all the way on the right. These are called the noble gases. So we want to put a sentence together that says something like that.
um atoms that don't like to form bonds. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm lost about the forming that don't like to form bond part with the atoms. Oh, so non-metals. Can you scroll down so I can see the question again? Oh, that's why they don't want to form they're gases.
You don't have to say why, you just have to say which ones don't like to form bonds.
Helium's one of them, I know that.
Yes. But you don't even need to list them. You just have to say yes, and then describe what is in the last column, which is called the noble gases.
I just typed, well, sent my answer.
Now, if it said why, which I think is actually what it should say, it's and the reason is that their valence shell is already filled. Basically, they don't want to give up or gain because they're just happy the way they are.
I see.
Okay. Let me know where you want us to go from here. Just going to save this file so that we can have it for your records. Yeah, where do you want us to go from here?
We can do that practice SAT
Okay.
in lesson 4
Um,
English.
from what I recall, it does take you to an external website. Did you get
Yes.
set up with an account there?
No, not yet. I didn't understand what I was supposed to do
Well,
with the
I'm sort
class
of
code.
limited. Yeah, I'm sort of limited with what I can do because I don't have access to your email. I don't want the access. Let's see if we can get to English. I'm just close out some of these. Okay. All right. Why don't you create an account, a con account, if you don't have one? Maybe just click on the sign up there. I'll drop that in the, and maybe not, it would be better if you did not associate with like your Google account.
Okay.
Maybe you just sign up for an account and then see where it says enter class code there on my
Yeah.
screen. That looks to be where you want to enter the code, which I'll drop in the chat.
Learner, teacher. I have to put my date of birth. This is lovely.
Yeah.
Where is right? Enter class code. Thank you. All right, continue. Block here. All right, we got in. I'm in the 11th grade. And
Did you supply your username and password?
yeah, just give me a second. All right, now let me just see. All right, let me just send you the email that's used to log in. And then my password, I do not remember. Like, just give me a second. I think I know what. Okay, and now let me type in the password. All right, there we go. Please work. Yay, it worked. I now don't
Looks like
know.
we're gonna start this reading. Um,
Okay.
it's not timed. Okay. So I don't know how you want us to do this. I mean, you can obviously log into, but um, the idea here is uh, like the way that they actually the right way to do this from a testing strategy is actually to read the questions first. So a central theme of the passage is Kennedy's reference to our forebears is Kennedy indicates the ability to monitor weapons should be. Over the course of the passage, the main focus shifts from Which choice best summarizes Kennedy's perspective on scientific progress? And then there's some more questions here. So they don't want you to be able to go to those until you answer these. So now that you're sort of thinking about the questions, or at least have read through them once, you can read through the passage here. Might be easier if I put this passage in a Word document, which
All right.
I think I would like to do. And then we can look at it together here. I don't know if it's any better, but okay. Let me I don't know. Is it I know you can zoom in, but is it easy? Is this better seeing it in a document here?
Yeah, I'm right now trying to get it on my screen as well. Okay, I got it on my screen on the computer, so I can read it like from there.
Okay. That's even better if you can just read it on your side. It's the same one as the JFK.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you read it? Let me know when you're done. I'll do the same.
Okay. All right, I just finished reading it.
Okay. Anything you didn't understand or have questions about? Like words or sentences or phrases? It's okay if you don't. I'm just asking.
No. Um, I just understand that this just feels like a speech.
It is. And speeches are
Yeah.
tough to they're not they're not heavy on substance. They're heavy on like appeal to emotion, typically. So I would argue that as a in your case, you may want to read it again if you aren't sure. Because the answers don't like you're not getting a grade on this, I would ask you to just choose the best answer. I'll try to give you some guidance. The central theme of the passage typically occurs from the beginning. It's kind of like the thesis. So if you reread like the first 10 lines, you might be able to better answer this, but you can also just go with your best guess
All right. So the first 10 lines I should reread.
if you want. I mean, it doesn't,
I'll
remember, all we're doing, the only thing they want you to do here is they want you to upload that you took the quizzes.
Right.
and they want your results.
I think it's from the first 10 lines. It's talking about, I think the first answer will A.
So you're gonna go with A. All right.
Yeah. It's
Second
because it's
question.
meant. Okay, yes, sorry. The second question. Kennedy's reference to our four bears. Or four bears, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say for question number two, it's gonna be B.
Okay. So this next question, you have to know where it talks about monitoring weapons. And that's one of those where you may have to go and sort of rescan, or, since we've got it digitally, you can do a search for it.
Okay.
But it may not actually they may not actually use that exact same word. It might be like a broader word, like monitor weapons could mean like monitoring, like a general statement.
Right.
Um, you want to try not to give your opinion on like what you think should be the actual answer. That's a mistake to do. So look here down at 35 if you're not sure where to look.
Okay.
Right around there is where this is referring to.
Oh, I see. They made it simpler for the question, but they're still gonna make us look. I would say, I would say B for
All right,
the,
over the course of the passage, the main focus shifts from. It's kind of like, well, what's going on in the beginning to what's going on here at the end? There is a distinct change. Kind of refers to like the themes, what the theme is of the passage. And keep in mind, it's saying shifts from. So this is what it's asking what it was. Like, what was the initial focus?
I think the initial focus, and so it first talks around how America fought for its rights and other countries are, I guess, are struggling in the same way now. That's what at least I think. Speeches are really hard to figure out sometimes.
So what do you want to go with here?
Hmm. I think B because wait, no, hold on. I'm gonna reread the answers before I make another decision.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think B.
Okay. You're going with B. All right.
Yes.
Which choice best summarizes Kennedy's perspective on scientific progress? So sometimes, again, you got to go and figure out like where was he even talking about that? Because they talk about so many different things in speeches. Um, so it's definitely not where we're talking about weapons.
Yeah. So I think it's
Um,
before that. Well, I'm just gonna likely have to start from the beginning. This is why I don't like speeches. It's like poetry in a way. It's confusing and it's complicated.
yeah, this is not the easiest of passages to read. Um, so here it is. It's here in 40,
Oh, so line 40.
roughly 39, 40, right in there.
He's literally describing NASA because let's explore the stars, conquer the deserts, the ocean depths. Okay. D. I think D is the answer for this, yes.
Okay. Okay, so here's another passage. Um, Passage one. So there's two passages. So I would look at this by passage if you can, but they want you to kind of compare between them, which I think is really, really challenging. Um, so I guess the best thing to do is to try to figure out the main idea of passage one and passage two, but I like to read the questions first. So which situation is most similar to the positive feedback loop, line 20? Okay, so positive feedback loop, something to think about there. Passage two, one weakness of the Berkeley study is that that's some sort of a weakness we're looking for in passage two. The research described in passage two rely primarily on what type of evidence. So it's almost like we should read passage two first. We could get two of those questions down. The authors of both passages would likely agree that this is where you got to look at both. How would the research described in passage two like respond to the review quoted in the third paragraph of passage four? Again, we're going to have to go back and forth between them. So it doesn't really matter. which order you read them in, but I probably suggest reading passage 2 first, and then trying to answer these two questions here, 7 and 8.
Okay, let me just read these speeches really quickly.
Okay.
I wonder why they chose speeches for this practice SAT.
These are not speeches. These are messages.
The last one was a speech. This one is.
Yes, these are just more of a, like magazine type writing.
Yeah, so far how I'm reading it, it feels like one too. Okay, I read it.
Yeah, you read both of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So I suggest we go to passage 2. Well, you actually read both of them. Okay. What is meant by a positive feedback loop? Do you have any idea what that means?
Not really, but I know that positive means good, so it has to be a good thing.
Okay. So which of these is a good thing?
Tennis player wins a tournament, which then qualifies him for an additional tournaments. I think that's A. I think that's
Probably a good
positive.
idea. Probably a good idea to read all of them before you make that decision.
All right.
I'm
Well,
not saying it's
I'm
not A, but I suggest reading. Don't
yeah.
just say, "Oh, that looks right." I'm gonna choose it.
All right. Well, I'm not. I'll read B, C, and D. I'm skipping E because E just means I don't know. Okay. Now that I read them all, I think D might be the best answer because a loophole means the same thing happens again.
Sometimes it's good to go back and read it in context here. So it says, still researchers hopeful of a breakthrough. They can now use computing to accelerate the discovery of electrode and electrolyte system. This creates a positive feedback loop in which computing informs experiments and experimental results help refine the computing process. So
Oh, okay.
it's some sort of
That's scientific.
refining, go back and goes back and forth.
So in that situation, it would be C with the thermostat if it's scientific wise.
What do you want to go with for your final answer? I mean, you've now said A, D, and C. I mean, heck, throw in B. Which one do you want to go
Eh,
with?
now everything's so complicated. Line 20. I'm going to reread line 20 again. Okay, the last one, my last answer is B. That's it. That's the final decision. It's B.
Right. In passage 2, one weakness of the Berkeley study is that the researchers
Focus on the power of fate, so it's A.
Okay. The research described in passage two primarily rely on which type of evidence?
I'm right now looking for the evidence and rereading the passage. Okay, the answer is A for this one, experimental data.
All right, so the next one is kind of like really got to know both passages kind of in and out, or at least the main ideas. The author of both passages would likely agree that humans need to stop using fossil fuels as an energy source. And again, this is not your opinion. You gotta be really careful here. Researching the performance of electric car batteries is a worthwhile endeavor. The travel needs of the US drivers are likely greater than anticipated. Electric cars will soon become more popular than internal combustion vehicles.
B.
Okay, so we got to look at lines 10 through 17 of passage one. So I'll read those out loud. With present day technology, however, electric vehicles cannot compete with internal combustion vehicles. According to one review, energy densities 2 and 5 times greater required to meet the performance goals of a future generation of plug-in hybrids. So they're basically saying like electric vehicles are just not going to be able to compete. But passage two talks about the positive qualities of electric vehicles. So take a look at those answers and see if one stands out to you.
Okay. I think A would be the answer in this situation. A, yeah.
Okay. How do you think you did overall before we finish this? Do you feel like this went well, didn't go well? What do you
I
think?
think I think we did our best, and that's how I feel. I think I did okay.
Okay.
I
Um,
tried my best.
yeah, I mean, of course. And the second one I think went better than the first one. So we'll go with that here. Um,
Yeah.
So then that's kind of where I thought you'd be. You answered some right. I knew some were not right based on how you started, but that was okay. Um, especially for starting out. So you've got, it's not clear to me how many of these you have to do. But I think you can just upload the first one
Okay.
and be done with it. So like what I would do here is I think we can just grab a snip of this. Maybe we can just submit it.
You know what? I'm actually happy with myself. I'm more surprised I was able to get some of these right.
Yeah, so actually it looks like you can just do you can put it here in the chat. You can say 5 of 10, correct? And I'll just save it. You can submit that if you want. Okay,
All
we're
right.
gonna stop there for today. Our next lesson is Thursday.